Hello and welcome to Every Mile. Today we are in Simi Valley, California to check out the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. This is new for me, this is new for him, this is new for all of us. This is going to be a fun, exciting visit. I want to see Air Force One.
From the mountains to the shining sea, together we're growing and learning as we go. Every mile we're making memories side by side, growing in love and unity with every destination. New story unfolds every mile.
It's Ronald Reagan.
Never gets old.
America had lost faith in itself.
Accumulated is the result of the government's high-spending diet. Well, it's time to change the diet and to change it in the right way.
Wait, I think this is us.
For General Electric, here is Ronald
It's
Reagan.
us. Wait, I want to see it. Wait, your eyes are closed.
For General Electric, here is Ronald Reagan.
As required by the state constitution of California, Reagan moved to Simi Valley.
So far this is really cool. It shows his development through his career from his growing up years in high school all the way up into playing college football, then into radio broadcasting, movies, governorship, and then later into the presidency. There's all kinds of videos, all kinds of exhibits where you can read and learn about different things that he did while in the presidency and how he got into that position. We're moving on to the next section now. I'm really excited for this.
See it? Look left, look right. That's old technology, but that's how they did it back in those days.
Reagan loved red. She wore a lot of red. She loved it so much we called it Reagan red. Not just red, it was Reagan.
So when John Hinckley tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan, this is the suit that he had on. You can see the hole from where the bullet was. Crazy, but he did live.
See, it was a life-threatening danger to his life. The next thing I knew, I was lying face up on the ground.
That the Secret Service had not done their job. So every year there's something called a gridiron luncheon in D.C. where the politicians roast the press and the press roast the politicians. Nancy Reagan knew that she was going to take a lot of secondhand store. Here is the original picture. When it came time for her to speak, she got up on the desk. Can you guess which is my favorite? Yes, it is. And the only thing I don't like is the hairdo that they gave her.
Matches mine.
The horse is El Alamein, which is the turning point of the Second World War in North Africa. This is where the U.S. and England beat Rommel for the first time in the tank battles. So the day before Ronald Reagan becomes president, remember?
So one of the tour guides was just telling us that this particular plane, this particular Air Force One, served as Air Force One for every president from Richard Nixon all the way to George W. Bush, who was president when I was in high school. So it was a very long time that this particular plane was in service.
It's humongous.
More Jelly Bellies. So they were saying that there's two types of phone lines. One is for secure line, the other is just for regular phone calls. So one is secure, one is not. And they're able to do both on this plane. And we got more Jelly Bellies kind of spread throughout. They said that when he entered Hollywood, he was told that he had to start smoking a pipe as a leading man. And so he started smoking, but when he met Nancy, she didn't want him to smoke anymore because she wanted him to live to be 100 years old. So his alternative was Jelly Bellies, and that was what he would eat. And so if you go to the Jelly Belly factory, which we have a video of, you can check out, you can see a monument, little thing dedicated to Ronald Reagan and his love for the Jelly Bellies. How many presidents have used this plane? What an absolutely incredible piece of history this is. From Richard Nixon to Bill Clinton to Ronald Reagan, George Bush, George H.W. Bush, just beautiful. And as you can see, he loved his jelly beans.
So this picture is 10,000 jelly beans. That's probably about 1/100th of all the jelly beans here.
So I'm guessing they don't do much standing on these helicopters.
I can
I don't know about you, but I want some Jelly Bellies now. we especially took very personal the area here that talks about the Berlin Wall and the fall of communism, and the reason for that is my wife's family comes from East Berlin. Her great grandma was forced into labor to build that wall. And so as we walked through that, I kind of had to stay quiet because we were both feeling the emotion of how intense that was. So that's one of the reasons why we actually came here today, is we wanted to see and learn more about that area of time. The Berlin Wall, the coming down of the Berlin Wall, the fall of communism. And it was pretty emotional for us, I'm not gonna lie. So to give you just a little idea of what the Berlin Wall is, just a brief summary. After the end of World War II, Germany was divided up among the Allies. So part of it went to Italy, part of it went to Berlin, part of it went to the British, part of it went to the United States, and then another section of it went to the Russians. The Russians kind of went the opposite way. They built this wall along the border of their territory to keep the people in. And they were not very good to the people inside that area, which was my wife's family. They lived in that area of Berlin. Her great-grandfather was taken to a concentration camp and starved and beaten and all kinds of stuff. Her great-grandmother was forced to build the wall. Her grandmother was able to escape into Austria and later came to the United States. But it's a crazy part of history, just crazy. Of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. So he and Nancy are both buried right here on the grounds, right here behind me, with an absolutely beautiful view of the valley behind me. Beautiful. One thing we did learn that was kind of cool, this statue right behind me of him on his horse is inside of the horse. There's 40 artifacts, because he was the 40th president, that belonged to him. So his boots are in there, a hat is in there, a couple of belt buckles, different items that belong to him are inside of this horse right here. 40 items. I thought that was a cool little fact. Okay, so overall, what did you think?
Overall, that was amazing. The staff got to tell us like some really cool stories and kind of their favorite stories about it. So we got to learn the history first and foremost from the staff and Jerry was awesome. He had been working here for 20 years and told us some really fun stories. And he was actually here when like Reagan
would come and visit
and said at the Oval Office that they had replicated.
And greet guests in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
So we did get some souvenirs. We had to get some Jelly Bellies because they were everywhere and I started craving them. So overall, I would recommend this place. This has been a lot of fun. Gives you a good example of kind of the history of that time period that he was president and even leading up to his presidency. So you can kind of see what was going on in the world during that time.
And our kids really enjoyed it too. They usually can get quite bored at museums, and they had a lot of hands-on stuff for the kids, so they loved it.
Absolutely.
As you go into the museum, look out for Jelly Bellies. Because Ronald Reagan loved Jelly Bellies.
And that ends our day here at the Ronald Reagan Library, Presidential Library. Thank you for coming with us on this adventure, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye, guys.
Making